All right, so let's go over how to add and subtract fractions. We'll do this with your homework for the week. Subtract, right? Your answer is a fraction in simplest form. So we have 7/10 minus 1/10. So we're starting with 7/10, we're subtracting 1/10. Our denominator is already a common denominator. So we just have to subtract 7 minus 6. 1 is 6. Keep the same denominator, 6/10. Now we can simplify. Multiplying and dividing. With multiplying, we can simplify first. You can't do that here. Okay, so we got to see what a common factor of 6 and 10 are. We can divide them both by 2 because they're both even. So we can come up with 3/5. That is in simplest form. Let's find the least common denominator of 8 and 20. We don't have to worry about the numerator. We're just looking at 8 and 20. So we could list the multiples of 8 and list the multiples of 20 until we got there. So 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, and I can keep going on and on. 48, and then 20 times 1, 20 times 2. Hey, there we got it. Our answer is 40. Let's find 5/6 plus 1/9. So first, write the addition with the common denominator, then add. So we know we can always find the quickest common denominator by just multiplying these two together. 6 times 9 is 54. That won't always be the least. It wasn't here. 8 times 20 is 160, which would have been in common, but not the least common, like 40 was. Let's find a smaller one though. We know 9, 18, 27. We know 6, 12, 18. There we go. Least common denominator, 18. So we'll rewrite them both with 18. So to change 5/6 to 18ths, we did times 3 here. So we have to do times 3 here. So 5/6 is the same as 15/18. And then 1/9 is the same as 7/18. 9 times 2 is 18. 1 times 2 is 2. So 2/18. So 15/18 plus 2/18 gives 17/18. That's already simplified. Okay. Question 4. We need to add two numbers that do not have common denominators. Unlike denominators, my denominators are 5 and 8. So again, the quickest common would be 5 times 8 is 40. So let's just change them both to 40. 4/5, 40. 5 times 8. So whatever you do to the denominator, we do to the numerator, 32/40. 5/8. That's why I like to write it vertical instead of horizontal, because then we can just look up and down. Times 5 times 5 is 25/40. 32/40 plus 25/40. My denominator is still going to be 40. My numerator is going to be 57. I can leave this as an improper fraction. I do need to see if if I can simplify. 57 is divisible by 3, and we know that because 5 plus 7 is 12, and that's divisible by 3. But 40 is not divisible by 3. That's odd, that's even, so we can't divide by 2. We can try some other numbers, but we can see that's our final answer. Okay, subtract 7/10 minus 5/8. Write your answer as a fraction in simplest form. Again, the quickest common denominator would be 8 times 10, which is 80. But we already found earlier that 10 and 8, 40 is a common denominator. So let's use 40 this time. We could use 80, but we know we'll have to simplify that. We might have to simplify this, but we don't know that yet. We'll find out. 10 times 4, 7 times 4. 8 times 5, 5 times 5. So 28/40 minus 25/40. 20 minus 25 is 3. 40 is my denominator, 3/40. Now to try to simplify, the factors of 3 are only 1 and 3. 3 does not go into 40, because 4 plus 0 is 4. That's not divisible by 3, so that's an answer. Alright, so that's the first half of your homework. This homework will take a while. while, so let's make sure we do it right the first time. Add these, write your answer as a mixed number in simplest form. Okay, so let's look at this. We have 6 and 1/5, and we have 5 and 5/6. When we multiply and divide, we can't do this, but when we add and subtract, we can add the whole numbers and add the fractions. Let's do that, or we can change them both to improper fractions, find a common denominator, add them, then change them back to a mixed number. I'm gonna do the way where I'm just gonna add 6 plus 5 is 11, and then I'm gonna add 1/5 plus 5/6. You can do the other way, takes a little bit longer. Okay, a common denominator with 5 and 6 would be 30. 5 times 6 is 30, 1 times 6 is 6. 6 times 5 is 30, 5 times 5 is 25. So 6/30 plus 25/30 is 31/30. Now look, this is an improper fraction. 31/30. 31 fits into 30. Sorry. 30 fits into 31 one time with a remainder of 1/30. So 31/30 is the same as 1 and 1/30. Okay, so if this is 1 and 1/30 and this is 11, 11 plus 1 is 12. Again, you could make these both to improper fractions. Find a common denominator, add them, you're gonna end up with some huge numbers. Okay. With adding, I like to do it this way. With subtracting, borrowing can get a little difficult, so I think it makes sense when you subtract to just do it as improper fractions. So let's do that on this one. 36 plus 1 is 37/4. Minus 3/10. Find a common denominator. Our quickest common denominator would be 40. Our least common denominator would be 20. So let's use 20. Times 5. 37 times 5 is a little more difficult. 5 times 30 is 150. 5 times 7 is 35. 150 plus 35 is 185. Then we get this to 20 times 2 times 2, 6 20ths. So 185 20ths minus 6 20ths would be 179 20ths. So now we need to see how many 20s fit in 179. Again, we could do it like the last problem and borrow, but that gets a little tricky. 20 goes into 179, I don't know. 2 goes into 17 8 times, so let's try 8. 8 times 20 is 160. So we have a remainder of 19 20ths. So the answer is 8 and 19 20ths. I cannot simplify 19 20ths. That's your answer. Question 8. How much of the circle is shaded? Write your answer as a fraction in simplest form. Okay, so let's figure out how much is unshaded first, and then we'll subtract that from 1, because we know the whole thing is 1. So we have to find 1/5 plus 1/4. I like to write it vertically. Common denominator of 20. So to get from 5 to 20, we do times 4. 1 times 4 is 4 20ths. These are both equivalent. So we get from there to there, we do times 5 times 5, 5 20ths. 4 20ths plus 5 20ths is 9 20ths. Okay, so this up here is all 9 20ths. The whole thing, if we broke it up into 20 pieces, would be 20 20ths. So if the whole thing's 20 20ths and this is 9 20ths, we can do 20 20ths minus 9 20ths. And that leaves you with 11 20ths. So it makes sense. This is a little more than half. This is 11 20ths, that's 9 20ths. Okay, question 9. David picked up a toy with a mass of 7/12 kilograms. Then he picked up another toy with a mass of 1/12 kilograms. What is the total mass of the toys he picked up? I like to draw stuff. Alright, so we got David here, and he's picking up a toy. It's clearly a toy train, and it weighs 9 20ths. And then he picks up another toy and puts it on top of this toy train, and this toy dinosaur. Perfect. That weighed 1/12. Ooh, this was 7/12. So that train was 7/12, this was 1/12, so total, we need to add those two. 1/12 plus 7/12. That's 8/12. 8/12 kilograms. Ooh, simplest form though. These are both even. Anytime you have two even, you can divide by 2. So it would be the same as 4/6. There's both still even, so we can divide by 2 again. So the answer would be 2/3 of a kilogram. We could have just divided straight by 4. Just took an extra step to do it this way. And we gotta make sure it makes sense. It doesn't make sense that 2 toys weigh 2/3 of a kilogram. Yeah. Reasonable answer. Last question. Dion made a shirt using 3/5 meters of blue fabric. Okay, so there's 3/5 of a meter, blue. And then 1/4 of a meter of red. How many fabrics of red, how many meters of fabric did he use in all? Okay, so we had 3/5, and then you had 1/4. We're adding these together. Okay, 3/5 plus 1/4. We need a common denominator. Good thing we've done all these problems, we found the common denominator for 5 and 4 would be 20. So let's change these into 20s. 5 times 4 is 20, 3 times 4 is 12, 4 times 5 is 20, 1 times 5 is 5, so 12 20ths plus 5 20ths is 17 20ths. We cannot simplify that. 17 is prime, 17 20ths meters. And does that make sense? It's almost a full meter when you take that and you add that. Yeah, there's your answer. Okay, that's how you do your homework this week. Take your time, make sure you find common denominator,